terrible. But, I think the craziest, I can remember, again, I'm surrounded by guys. And so I worked with this infantry battalion and infantry brigade, and we went to the field to go do this big exercise. You're talking thousands of people at this exercise. And you had big tanks, so you go to the field. And in Korea, certain times of year, it just absolutely pours outside, and it gets wet, and you have mudslides. And the year before I got there, not even a year, 6 months before I got there, they had that issue, and they lost big Connex containers, like you see on the highways, of ammunition that got taken out into the ocean. So that was the big thing. They were still recovering all that when we got there. It was near where we were located. But anyway, so crazy. So we go to the field, and I'm thinking, God, this is going to be ugly, because where we set up is where the mountains are, and there's going to be mudslides and everything else. So thankfully, where we set up our little compound, it wasn't too bad. But they moved a small unit of like 10 people that ran all the big water trucks to give us water in the field. And they moved that to a location that was in a low-lying area. And that night, it already rained so much, and we're having mudslides. So the story goes is I'm like, this is bad. And I go to the Tactical Operations Center where the senior enlisted advisor was there. And he was this old, crusty, he's already, to me, he looked like he was like 100 years old, but he barked. The guy, when I say, I don't mean like bark like a dog, but he could bark orders, and he made everything happen. And I respected him on how he was able to get people to do what they were supposed to do. So I walk into Tactical Operations Center, it was like midnight, and I'm like, there's bad stuff going on, sure. And I'm the senior medical person on the ground, not a doctor, but the senior medical planner on the ground. Mm-hmm. And he said, and they're looking around going, we have 10 lost soldiers right now, and there's mudslides all around. How are we going to get them? And so they had a small group of officers and senior enlisted advisor going, they were trying to figure this out. And finally he's like, I won't use the terms he uses because it's foul language, but we got to freaking,
you can cuss.
Oh, so we got to, fuck all of you. We're gonna go fucking get these people, get our soldiers. They're our soldiers. Go get them. So he's looking around the room, and he looks at me and he goes, "Hey, medic, you're coming with me." Now look, I'm not, as an officer, I wasn't a medic. I was a medical service corps officer, but I had been a medic for 10 years, so I had medical training. I was an emergency medical technician. I had my license. I kept it for as a lieutenant, and then I let it expire. But so he's like, "You're going with me right now," and I was like, "Sure." So the room just looked around and said, "Sergeant Major, seriously?" I'm the only female in the room. Midnight, this big old burly Sergeant Major, and we're going to go tromping through the mud. First, we got to get through, I'm not kidding. So if you can imagine, I've been hiking with your mom in the nice parks in Georgia, right? You got a lot of foliage. Now, get yourself off the trail and start going, and it's not fall where all the leaves have fallen yet, right? Mm-hmm. And it's thick, right? And that's what we're going through at night with, a headlamp and trying to find 10 soldiers that are lost that we think could be in a mudslide. Mm-hmm. And the other thing you may not know about me, so the other big thing is people smoke in the military or they dip. That's just what you do, right? Well, I dipped. Mm-hmm. And so we're out there, and the sergeant major realizes about halfway through, and he's cussing. He's like, "God damn it, I can't." It's just mud up to our knees. It's raining out, and we're worried. We don't know how far out they are. We've got he's got his little map, and we're just trying to freaking break brush and get over there. And he stops cold turkey and says, "Holy fuck, I've run out of dip." And I go, and at that moment in time, I'm like, he doesn't know I dip because I'm never around him because I'm a lieutenant. He's a command sergeant major for the brigade. And I said, "Okay, sergeant major, just 1 second." And I pull out my can of Copenhagen, and I said, "I've got some." I thought he shit in his pants right there. And then for a brief second, and then he said, "Oh, thank God, Lieutenant, you're here." And we both took a dip. And we freaking traveled on to our destination, and we actually found them, and they were safe. They were in a bad low-lying area, but they did not have a mudslide around them. They did, and so we had to leave all their equipment and pull them out. They were still in their freaking, PT shorts and their freaking, sleeping bag, and the sergeant major's having a, shit fit. Like, get the fuck up. What are you doing? We've been trying to contact you by radio, and we can't contact you. Uh-huh. So, yeah, we pulled those asses out and took them back to the talk, and then, we were able to dig everything out, but that's pretty